On this episode, we're joined by the CEO and Director of Marketing for a franchise in Stanton Optical, servicing the Hampton Roads area and beyond. This sibling partnership is dedicated to providing expert care and insight for one of the most vital assets, our vision. In this episode, we dive into their journey to Virginia Beach, helpful tips on Eyecare, and how this group here are changing the landscape of the optical industry. Lucy, Forrest, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be here.
Wonderful.
Thanks for having us.
Well, we are kicking off season 2, everything Virginia Beach with 2 guests today. So I am very nervous and hopefully will not stumble over my words, but I'm super excited that you guys are both joining me today. Tell me what brought you both to the area and, how did you get started here in the 757?
Lucy,
Should I go first?
That since you're the one.
We'll start with Lucy. Ladies first, and also as the director of marketing here, Lucy, you take it away.
Awesome. And I did get here first. Technically, I'm the one that brought my whole family here. So I started it all back in 2016. I moved down actually for a job at the time. I was working for a company called Athena Health, which is actually located in Boston, Massachusetts. But I was working remotely in a healthcare tech sales position. So I moved down here in 2016 for that job. My team was remote. My boss lived in Virginia Beach. We're originally from New Jersey, so I had wanted a change of scene. I wanted to get out of the city. I was living in New York at the time, and my boss was like, you should check out Virginia Beach. I feel like you'd fit in really well here. I wanted to be still relatively close to home, but I also really wanted to live by the beach. And Virginia Beach really just checked all the boxes that I was looking for. So I moved down in 2016 and obviously been here ever since. My parents came down and visited that year that I moved and actually loved the area so much that weekend they were visiting, they ended up touring houses and then putting in an offer on a house like 2 weeks later. So They moved down. Yeah, it happened really fast. So they moved down then in 2017. They live now down the road from me. And then Forrest, when he decided to start opening the business down here, and he can speak more to that, but that was a couple years ago when he made that decision. So now he's splitting time between Virginia Beach and back home in Philly. So he can speak more to that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get into how Lucy convinced you to move to Virginia Beach for us. But starting off with your CEO journey into a franchise, I mean, like, what's the background of that? What type of resume do you need to get to where you are right now? Tell us more.
Yeah. So I discovered Stanton Optical really starting with the technology. So, we have a hybrid telehealth model. So all of our doctors work remotely. You come into the store, we'll check your eyes there in person. But then with the actual vision exam is done with a refractionist up on screen instead of them, sitting in a chair next to you. So the telehealth model is kind of what got me interested in Stanton Optical. I discovered that because previously I was in an investing role. I worked at a private equity firm in Chicago, and we spent a lot of time looking at healthcare services companies. So in that role, what I was doing is we were finding different relatively, medium-sized healthcare companies, and then working with the management teams there to either buy that company and help grow them, or sometimes there would be 2 different companies that were kind of similar, and we would work on, buying both of them and combining the 2 companies. And so I had a lot of experience just diligencing companies, looking at company financials, and that kind of thing. But I always wanted to kind of get back into the operating world. And so when I found this model, I fell in love with it. And it was just an awesome opportunity to, kind of get back into the small business side of the world and get to grow something myself. So, Lucy is the one who really discovered the Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads area. And so we would go down to visit there, just really fell in love with it, fell in love with the people, and felt like, there's nothing else like this in the area. It's the right people, it's the right market. And, let's just build something here.
I love that. And I'd love to know we'll start back with Lucy and then jump back over to you, Forrest. What specifically drew you into the Virginia Beach area, and what highlights kind of led you down to exploring a little bit more of a permanent vacation. Lucy, I know you said your boss was like, hey, you should check out Virginia Beach. It's like a big little city, compared to New York. What was that thought process like for you?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was living in New York at the time. So I really just wanted to get out of the city. I basically, after college, hit not all, but most of the major cities from the Midwest to the Northeast. I was living in Chicago and then Boston and then New York. So I was just tired of living in the city, and I wanted to be somewhere where I had a little more space. I wanted to live by the beach, but I still wanted to be close to home. So, Virginia is such an awesome location because it's still really close to the Northeast. You have access back to New York, back to New Jersey, but it's a little more slow going here. It's very chill. When I came down and visited, like Forrest said, I really loved the people. I just felt like everyone was so nice, and there's just a lot less drama down here than in the city. People just aren't quite as like tightly wound. So I really appreciated that, but I also feel like this was a really good balance where the people here are still very driven and very innovative and well-traveled and interesting. So it was kind of like the perfect meshing of all my worlds.
Love it, Lucy. A lot of folks have that same story as well when they talk about exploring and discovering the Virginia Beach area. It's still a city of over 500,000 people, and then a million if you compare all the 7 cities that make up Hampton Roads. But in a lot of ways, it's very chill. It's very laid back. Forrest, what was the experience like for you?
Yeah, I mean, similar reasons there as Lucy. When we were looking at where to start the business, I actually was looking all over. So it wasn't just going to be, Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads because my family lives there. I was thinking about, Western Pennsylvania. I was thinking about looking at West Virginia and other areas. But at the end of the day, the Hampton Roads just kind of it's the right demographics. It's a great place to do business. It is, to your point, there's still a pretty dense population, but it is not like commercial real estate isn't nearly as expensive in Hampton Roads as it is further north. I mean, you try to go anywhere close to Philadelphia and it's going to be like 4 times as expensive just to try to do business there. And then the other key thing is it really was just the people. I mean, it's, I think that you have a good balance where, folks are hardworking, they care about each other. And you don't quite get the same, kind of chip on your shoulder that you find a little bit further north. But I think part of having such a strong military presence there too is there's just a culture of hard work and dedication, which when you're building a business, those are the kinds of people that you want to be a part of it. So those were really the 2 main factors that led us to settle around Hampton Roads.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate you both sharing that. And Forrest, I know you're a numbers guy, and a lot of our listeners are small business owners, medium-sized business owners. And, if you're looking for a sponsorship, definitely hit me up in the comments. No kidding aside, Forrest, you're a numbers guy. So it had to make sense for you. And Virginia has done what I believe has been a very persistent, continual movement forward in the direction of promoting businesses while also sustaining one of our most, prized cost, and that is going to be our healthcare. Our healthcare is so important, especially for a lot of our folks who are visiting, whether you're out in the sun or you're, of course, looking for your just daily use wear. It's never been more important to be, keeping up with your healthcare. And with that said, I'd love to kind of jump into the specifics of your business model next, Forrest. What kind of attracted and drove you to this area, really forming the structure that you have? And then, of course, talking about the services and, going from there about what it's like to work with you all for people's optical needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me just walk you through what the typical kind of patient experience would be, right? So you walk into our store, you'll see in the front there a few thousand different frames to choose from, all kinds of different glasses, and find what looks good on you, which is easier said than done.
Forrest, don't mean to interrupt, but would you mind sharing exactly where your location is for our visitors who might not be familiar with the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So we just opened up our fourth location, which is down in Chesapeake. Our fourth location is it's on Volvo Parkway. It's near the Volvo
Greenbrier.
Parkway Mall there. Yeah, Greenbrier, exactly. We have two locations that are in Norfolk. So one is kind of across the street from the Janus Shopping Center, so people are familiar with that. And then the other area is up in Ward's Corner. There's a Harris Teeter's there, and we're right next to that Harris Teeter's. And then our fourth location is actually up in Newport News. It's near the Tech Center, so it's on the corner of Jefferson and Oyster Point. So people in Newport News will know that intersection. So those are our fourth locations. We're looking to do a fifth one. We want to do one in Virginia Beach. It's a little harder to find the right real estate in Virginia Beach, but we're on the prowl.
Absolutely. Yes, it is definitely a more coveted real estate space in Virginia Beach than any of the cities. But Norfolk and Chesapeake is just a skip and a jump away for now, which is super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the customer experience. So you walk in, you'll see, a few thousand frames to pick from. And then we'll take you to the back and we do the eye health part of your exam there in person. So we're going to check your interocular pressures. We do retinal imaging, so taking photos of the back of your eye. And then you'll go into one of our two lanes to see your refractionist. And those are the individuals who are actually doing the vision exam. So if you've ever gotten your eyes checked, you'll be familiar with the big phoropter that goes in front of you. And, the optometrist or refractionist says 1 or 2, and you're, checking to get the right prescription. So you'll do that, and the refractionist is up on screen as opposed to standing right next to you. And that unique model lets us, we take walk-ins. There's always going to be somebody there to see you. So unlike a traditional optical store, you don't have to book an appointment ahead of time. You can just walk right in. Someone will be there. And then you'll finish your exam. You'll come out. Our doctor, Dr. Jonathan Ellis, is reviewing people's prescriptions all day long, and he will get that ready pretty soon. In the meantime, you can pick out some frames. And then depending on your prescription, there's a decent chance that we can make those glasses for you right then and there as well. So we can make a pair of glasses in 30 minutes. So in and out, you can, kind of have the whole experience in under an hour. The thing that takes the longest is people picking out their pair of frames that they like.
It's a lengthy process. 1,000 different frames. That's quite overwhelming. How does that work? How does the customer navigate through that?
Yeah, we like to have a lot of fun with our customers, right? So we'll help pick out a bunch of different frames for you, but it starts with the lifestyle questions. When are you wearing your glasses? What kind of are you outside a bunch? Do you like plastic? Do you like metal? It's really just we always try to have fun with everyone and make sure that we can kind of figure out what looks really good on you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, gonna jump over to Lucy here. Lucy, you oversee social media, and for a lot of people out there, it's like the box in Mario Kart that has all of the giant question marks on it. Like, people know that it's good, that it'll give you some type of advantage or level up, but quite frankly, we're not always sure exactly what type of benefit that will give us. Lucy, in a bit of a nutshell, would you mind sharing with us your daily process of doing the social media for this franchise with Stanton, and then of course share with us, the importance of social media, how that plays a part in educating your prospective customers.
Yeah, and I love that you noticed our social media presence, because that's been something we've really been pushing since I've jumped on board in May of this year. So it's been a big push. So just a little background on me too. Like, my experience with social media actually mainly comes from my music career, my band, which is a side gig of mine outside of my Stanton Optical endeavors. So I've had a lot of experience with social media, learning the algorithms, both on TikTok, on Instagram, on literally every platform that emerges. There's a new one every year or so. Yes. And so I'm very versed, whether I like it or not, in how social media works, how to go viral, the types of sounds that should be used, how long or short a video should be, whether it's 5 seconds or 10 seconds. There's so much thought that goes into all of that. And honestly, it took me years to really master and understand how all of that works. And in many ways, like you said, it's always this like question mark where it's always changing and evolving. So with Stanton Optical, when I started working with Forrest, like we had little to no social media presence at that point, aside from our corporate office, like Forrest mentioned, since we are franchisees, our corporate office handles all of like the national and digital sort of online advertising. So I handle all the local sales and marketing, and obviously our social media falls into that bucket. So when I got on board, I was like, we should really, really push on social media locally because obviously everyone for the most part is on social media. And if you're a retail store and you're posting these funny videos every day with your employees, about the things that you're selling or doing in the store, then that's going to be engaging to people, regardless of what it is that you're selling. And, in many ways, like anything healthcare related, even glasses, like that's not a very exciting topic of conversation for a lot of
Not always
people.
exciting, but essential for health and well-being, right? If you rely on your glasses, right, and that's pretty important.
It's absolutely essential. But it's certainly Forrest and I talk about this all the time. For a lot of people, it is a chore to check off your list and make sure, okay, I need to get my eye exam done this year. I need to get new glasses. So the whole idea with our push on social media was to try and just make it fun and easy, because that really is what our brand is, just making eye care easy and affordable for everyone. So that's been the push on social media. I get together every week, bouncing from store to store with different employees. We have like a list of employees who all like to participate in our videos. So there are like TikTok and Reel stars. I keep saying TikTok. We're actually not doing TikTok right now. We're waiting on approval from corporate on that.
Okay.
So I'll just clarify that.
But Facebook and Meta and Instagram, you guys are still on there currently, correct?
Yeah.
That's where people can check you out. And I'll put the social links below for our listeners who are just listening. Definitely don't go and search it right now while you're driving, please. Please don't.
Totally. And Stanton Optical Virginia is our username. So you can find us there on socials pretty much anywhere.
Wonderful. And I know social media, it's definitely one of those tools that, can be really get repetitive. You kind of search for something and you might see a weird dance or maybe a trending audio. A lot of businesses kind of reciprocate those things. But Forrest, I want to touch on this fun aspect. You said we have fun when we pick out glasses. And Lucy, that's how we got connected online, really has been able to capture this fun and excitement. So for those listeners who may not follow you on social media or may just still be kind of, familiarizing themselves with, I can pick out an eye doctor online. What would you say are maybe a couple of different attributes that maybe yourselves or in general are good things to look out for when you're trying to pick out that next eye care provider that you're looking to do business with?
Yeah. So our number one thing we talk about with all our employees all the time is hospitality. We always say that's really what we're in the hospitality business, right? And for us, what hospitality is it's all the thoughtful and the caring things we can do to make our patients feel like we are on their side when they're shopping with us. And I think that's the big thing that you got to look out for really in all of healthcare, right? But it's making sure that the provider, the person who is working with you, you really feel like they're on your side. And I think, for us, the way we do that is we make sure that we're asking a lot of questions. We make sure that we understand who you are when you're wearing your glasses. You have the people that are the casual glasses wearers. Maybe they only wear them at night sometimes. You'll have the people that are the really heavy duty wearers who are really hard on their glasses and, are throwing them on the ground all the time, or, people who are carpenters and throw them in piles of sawdust and stuff. Like we see everything. And in order to know really what you need, it takes a conversation and it takes kind of figuring out, not just what it says on a piece of paper with your prescription, but what's your lifestyle like and where are you wearing your glasses and how much abuse are they taking, right? Do you spend a lot of time in front of computer screens? That's going to be a different kind of lens than somebody who's, maybe out in the sun all day. And so, what we try to do is just be hospitable, make sure when someone comes into the store, we're getting to know them, not just, what the numbers are on the page, but actually who they are. And with that, being able to advise them on really what they're going to need in a pair of glasses. And if you do it well, it's also a lot of fun because, who doesn't like to get to meet people? And that's kind of what we're all about.
Absolutely. I love that. And love to hear from you, Lucy, as I kind of reframe this next question before we go into our last segment, because I understand you guys got to get back to work. So when it comes to, your practice, you guys have worked with, hundreds of clients, serviced, one of the three largest cities, in the United States. I'm sure you've come in contact with a lot of different stories and messages, but I want to hear about the Hampton Roads area, because like you said, there's something unique about it that drew you in here. How has your interactions with our community members played a part in the way you view and conduct your business here locally?
Well, honestly, one of my favorite parts of this job has been just getting to know the community better, being out in the field, and actually interacting with people on a daily basis. I mentioned at the beginning, my previous job for the past 8 years was working as a remote healthcare sales rep, where I was sitting at home all day in my home office at my computer, not having a lot of human interaction. So now with this job, I've really enjoyed the fact that every day is something different, and I've gotten to get to know a lot of different small businesses at networking events, even just like you said, through Instagram. I talk to a lot of people every day, just messaging on Instagram and commenting on posts and whatnot. And we do a lot of community events as well. We do a lot of volunteer work at like youth programs, schools. We do a lot of work with MWR on base with military families. So there's a lot of time for me to get to know the community there and interact with kids a lot, which is also really cool because I've never had a job where I've had to do that. And I'm actually just realizing like how hilarious kids are from the age of like 7 to 14. They're so funny. So I've really been enjoying that. I go to these events and often I'm just like handing out candy and coupons for free eye exams and talking to people. So I think one of the big things, about this community that's unique, that informs our business and the way we do business, is the fact that obviously there's a huge military population here. And I'm somewhat part of that. My husband is military, active duty military. So I'm a spouse. I totally understand that lifestyle. So, it's been really awesome being able to provide a way for Eyecare to be easier and efficient for active duty and veterans as well, members and their families. A big thing that I get from people who are in the military is they'll say, "Oh, I can get my glasses for free on base," which is true. You can get a free pair of glasses on base. But the reality is you only get one free pair of glasses a year. And a lot of people either break or lose their glasses at some point, especially if they're in the military.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So one free pair for the year and that's it.
Yeah, just one for the year. Not to mention it takes months to just get an appointment, get a prescription, and then you have to wait, several more weeks to actually get your glasses. So what I always tell people is, like at our stores, we have a year-round promotion that's 2 pairs of glasses for just $79. And those are prescription glasses, plus a free eye exam, plus you can walk in anytime. You don't have to make an appointment. So to me, like that's a way better ROI, especially if time is money. If you have 48 hours between a deployment or moving somewhere for new orders, we can get you your glasses like within an hour potentially of coming into the store. Whereas on base, you don't really have that kind of efficiency. So, that side of the community and just understanding who they are and what their needs are has been a big part of informing our business and our marketing. And it's been something I've really enjoyed getting on base and like talking to those families.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it is a military area, so the way in which you're tailoring your business definitely affords that military population the ability to work around their schedule, and also at a pretty competitive price point, especially when you only get one pair a year compared to the alternative. Forrest, what about you, sir? Any key moments or highlights that have really helped your perspective of the community shift and influence the way you do business here locally?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we are is in many ways the first line of defense for people's eye care. One thing we didn't talk about, but is important, is part of the beauty of the telehealth model is it lets us reduce our costs. So in addition to having, the highest quality lenses and having incredibly high quality frames, we also can do it at a much lower cost than all of our competition. And so because of that, we also see, we see a lot of Medicaid patients. We see a lot of folks who just don't, money can be tight, right? And I think that
Yep.
It's very valuable. We love serving that part of the community. We had a 9-year-old girl come into one of our locations a few weeks ago. And it turns out she was blind in one eye. She had no idea. She's just 9 years old, didn't know this because this was her first vision exam. We really are able to offer our services to a really wide range of people. And because of how easy it is, because you can just walk in and get an exam, we're able to help out people that otherwise just wouldn't get any vision care. And that's incredibly rewarding, and also, just great to be kind of a part of that community. And then just to reiterate what Lucy said too, on the military side, we've had a couple of folks come in who are like right in between deployments. So they come in, they're super worried because they lost their pair of glasses, and being able to get folks their eye exam, get them some contacts, get them their glasses that same day. And just the relief that you see in people where they realize, thank God, I'm going on deployment for 3 months and I'm going to actually have something to see, is also just incredibly rewarding. So I'd say those two things.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you sharing that and highlighting the affordability aspect of those as well. Lucy, what were we going to say?
Oh, I was just going to add on to what he was saying. I know we've caught a couple potentially serious cases of glaucoma as well, where we've actually sent patients directly to the emergency room as opposed to referring them out to an ophthalmologist. And in those instances, the patient was able to basically save their vision, save themselves from going blind. So there's some pretty extreme cases where we can catch these issues really early on, and it's essentially free for the patient.
Wow, yeah, and with the affordability access that you guys have based upon your model, it seems like you are able to, like Forrest said, to be the first line of defense and really cover a whole wide range of issues, including, which I have not mentioned until this part, but contacts as well, which leads me into our last segment, because I know you guys got to get back to things, our rapid fire question section. Lucy, Forrest, these are rapid fire questions coming at you hot and fast. Are you ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start with Lucy and go to Forrest. Lucy,
Okay.
Contacts or glasses?
For me personally,
Yes.
so, well, I actually don't wear either currently, but I do have a pair of prescription sunglasses that I wear. According to Forrest, I should get glasses. I have a slight prescription in my left eye.
Of course,
but
Forrest is going to recommend glasses, Lucy. He does it for a living, right? He's a businessman.
I know, yeah. He's got a lot of incentive. I
Sure.
will go contacts when the time comes, but I think I'm still skating by for now.
Gotcha. What are one or two hacks that you like to use in the ever-changing digital age that keep you ahead or at pace with your competition?
Is this for me too? Or?
This is for you as well, Lucy. Yes.
So like I said, our corporate office does most of our digital advertising. They're very well versed in that, so they take care of most of that for us. In terms of my own personal hacks, I think the social media point that we talked about earlier is really my secret weapon. And just staying on top of content and making sure that we're releasing a new post every day or every other day. That really keeps the numbers high. It keeps engagement high. It keeps us relevant. So that's huge for me.
Love it. And over to you, Forrest. When it comes to eye myths, what are one of the most common eye myths that you hear about? And why is it a problem to have myths about your eyes?
I guess I'll give two really quickly. One is, blue light. People are like, oh, blue light, it's coming from our screens and it's terrible for us. The number one source of blue light is actually the sun. So you're getting more blue light coming from the sun than you are from any screen that you're looking at. Still, it also is the number one cause of macular degeneration and some eye health things there. So that's why it's valuable to have, blue light filtering glasses, not only if you're in front of screens all day, but also if you're outside a bunch, because you're getting a lot of blue light that's coming from the sun. So that's a common myth that we hear, is that blue light's just from screens, but really it's all in nature.
Really? I did not know that. So there's blue light in the sun?
Yeah, exactly. The most blue light that you get in your eyes is coming from the sun, not from your screens and things.
Wow. Well, that was a myth that I believed as well. So I appreciate you smashing that myth, and hopefully educating some people like myself that are listening to this. Forrest, for you, glasses or contacts?
I like glasses. I like the way they look. I actually should have been wearing mine probably on our whole call here. But I just think it's fun. I think that we have, you can put on a bunch of different things. I like you can mix them up. I love sunglasses, so I have a bunch of different pairs of sunglasses that I wear too.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you all. Thank you both for your time, Lucy, Forrest. I really appreciate this conversation. And for those of you listening, definitely go and leave a show note, a review, letting Lucy and Forrest know about what you found helpful or interesting about the show. And that concludes this episode of Discover Virginia Beach. But before we end, I definitely want to roll out the virtual red carpet. Forrest, Lucy, please tell us what's going on, what's actively going on in your business, or something that you would like to promote, and love to give you the floor.
Yeah, so right now we're doing a special 50% off sale on frames and lenses. It's a Halloween special, so it's coming up, to the end of that time here. But as Lucy mentioned, our two kind of major evergreen promotions that we're running right now. One is 2 pairs of glasses made same day, single vision glasses for $79, and that includes your eye exam. Or if you wear progressives, so distance and reading lenses, we do a special, which is 2 pairs of progressives for $135 and your vision exam. So I think that those are, beat anything else out there, especially when you can walk in and get it same day.
Love it. Love it. And for you, Lucy?
Oh, and I was just going to add to that, since Joe, you did mention contacts. We also have a year-round deal, $139 for a 90-day supply of contacts. So for those who don't want to be wearing glasses, that's an option as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you both for sharing that. And thank you all for listening to another episode of Discover Virginia Beach. We'll catch you all in the next episode.